Hello and welcome to the WriteCome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from WriteCome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled, Whose Dream Are You Working On? Now, I want you to think about the word dream or what it conjures up in your mind. You know, if somebody said to you, what is your dream, or mentioned a dream to you at all in a conversation, what would that come up in your mind? Now, unfortunately for a lot of us as adults, you know, when it comes to dreams, we usually just refer back to those moments in sleep last night when we were lying on a beach, we had an ice cold cocktail in our hand, and for us, you know, that is a dream. You know, anything other than that is probably seen as something that is airy, fairy, it's esoteric, it's something you can't grab onto. It's one of those things you had when you were a kid, when you were 3 or 4, when your parent asked you, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up, or what do you dream about? And for a lot of those kids, you know, when we were small, we had said, well, I'd like to be a vet, I'd like to be a doctor, I'd like to be a nurse, or maybe you'd like to be a great explorer. You envisioned yourself maybe standing on stage and you were going on a world tour, but you were singing to a huge crowd, or you're a movie star, and all those different things. And you probably had a huge dream when you were small. But unfortunately, over time, you know, we kind of bounce up against the kind of cheese grater of life, in that, you know, we are kind of, when we have a large dream, we rub up against reality, and, you know, because we don't see anybody around us who are having dreams or telling us to keep our dreams small, the cheese grater kind of rubs away at whatever goals we have. So you have bumping up against the negativities around us, you know, whether our friends or our families are making a laugh of us because we are trying to follow some dream, or maybe the education system is telling us we're stupid, we're not talented, and we don't have what it takes. We're just slowly kind of rubbing up against that cheese grater, and it kind of ebbs away at that goal. And that child, you know, in the beginning of life had this huge goal, but over time it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and it probably becomes something that is almost equivalent of kind of a marble at this stage, because whatever goal you had, you know, it was nice when you were small, it was nice when you were innocent, it was nice not knowing that you didn't have any talent, and, you know, that you didn't have this and you didn't have that, and you were kind of shielded off from reality. But let's face reality, you know, anybody with a dream is delusional. They're somebody who isn't accepting reality as they are. And unfortunately, a lot of us kind of have a small dream right now. So I want you to think about what dream you had at the moment, or even if you if you do have a dream, maybe you've given up on the dream that you had when you were small. Maybe you are just coasting along, and I want you to just think for a moment, if you are coasting along, if you aren't working on your dream, you're working on somebody else's dream. Now, back when I used to work for Sainsbury's stores, I was a shelf stacker, and my dream at the time, again, it probably went down a lot as I grew older. I was beaten up with kind of, you know, you're not skilled, you don't have education, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have talent. And I kind of decided that my dream at that stage was just to find a job that had, you know, a decent weekly wage that would pay my mortgage, that would feed my kids, that would put a roof over their head. Now, while and all that was a decent thing to have, an honourable thing to have, it was a really small goal that I had, or a small dream that I had, and because my dream was small, I was paid the equivalent of it. I didn't realise that, you know, for me working in Sainsbury's, that, you know, because my dream was small, or because I'd given up on my dreams when I was younger, I was still working on somebody else's. I was still working on Sainsbury's dream. Now, I'm sure Mr. Sainsbury's was long dead, and I'm sure he was probably replaced by a board of directors or a group investor or whatever, but they had probably big dreams for the business. They probably had big dreams for the Sainsbury's and how it would be in the future. I imagine they probably seen they were going to expand in different places. They were probably going to bring on more products into the store. They were probably going to envision, you know, higher profits and all those different things. And they had lofty dreams for the business that they were in. And because I had given up on my dream, or I wasn't following my dream that I had when I was small, I was playing into their hands. I was just another cog in the system. I was another person in the business who was helping them to follow their dreams. So I want you to keep that in mind today. You know, if you have given up on your dreams, at the moment you are probably working on somebody's dream. Maybe if you have a 9-to-5 job right now, you are probably working on the dreams of the person who owns that store. You know, if you maybe have a job in Starbucks or whatever, you're probably Your dream is probably neutral or maybe none at all, but I'm sure Starbucks, whatever, has a large dream for you, and you are facilitating them, you are dealing with their customers, and you are getting them towards the dream that they have. So I want you to keep in mind your dream. What was it like when you were small? Was it something that you wanted to be? Maybe you wanted to be a writer. Maybe you wanted to, you had those moments when you're singing into your hairbrush in front of the mirror and you had a lofty goal of singing in front of a huge audience or being on TV, whatever. Now, again, a lot of us probably, maybe, we were a little bit deluded. Maybe we didn't have a good singing talent. Maybe we didn't have the confidence to be a movie star, or, maybe we didn't have the skills to be a great writer. But I'm sure there probably is some dream that you could be working on right now. So what I want you to do is, at this weekend or today or whatever, I want you to keep in mind what your dream was like. Now, for a lot of us, I said, unfortunately, a lot of us have a neutral vision of life. As we've been beaten up for life, we have probably been told, well, think smaller, don't stretch yourself, that's not really for you, that's for other people. There's never been a writer in this family, so maybe you shouldn't think about being a writer, or there's none of us in our family has ever had a business of their own, so take it easy, get a nice 9-to-5 job that's safe and secure, and just stay within those in that simple boxed in lane where you're not taking any risks and it's safe there. And unfortunately, when you have a neutral goal for your life really doesn't change from day to day. If you look at probably the majority of people, you probably have people who fall into 3 different categories, as Randy Gage said. You have some people, unfortunately, who maybe in the small percentage who have a negative vision of life, in that they are always expecting the worst to happen. They're always expecting that they are always going to be ripped off. They're always expecting that they're going to lose money. They're always expecting, for things to go wrong, for the wrong government to go in and all those different things. So they're really, really cynical. And then you have people who are probably in the majority who are in the middle, in that they have a neutral vision for themselves. They don't expect their lives to change from day to day. They expect what happened yesterday is going to be the exact same thing that's going to happen today. They're going to wake up at a certain time. They're going to do the exact same actions. And for a lot of those people, because they are in a neutral vision, because they don't expect anything to change, nothing does really change. They're probably the biggest excitement they have every day is probably starting or binging on a new box set on Netflix, or maybe going on a small holiday or something like that. So there's those blips of, something different. But unfortunately, a lot of people go from cradle to grave just doing the exact same thing and expecting the exact same results. And because they're expecting the exact same results, they get the exact same thing over and over again. It's almost as if they are on this Groundhog Day, in that everything is the exact same. They know exactly what they're going to do in 2 weeks' time or whatever, because they're going to get up at the exact same time, they're going to eat the same food, they're going to go to the same job, they're going to hang around with the same people. And because they have a neutral vision of their life, nothing really changes at all. Every day is the exact same. Now, unfortunately, a lot of us fall into that category. But when you do look around you, how much are you inspired to get out of that maybe neutral vision you have? If you look at TV, a lot of the people on TV are characters that are probably living out the same things. Again, books, probably people are living out the same things. And again, too, even if you look at the advertisements we are, bombarded with over and over again, there's none of those advertisements are really pushing you to take on a larger vision. They're always advertisements for, shop at this store so you can save money. They're always telling you to do small things. As Randy Gage, remember, said one time, it did surprise me when I thought about it. When you pay attention to TV or what's on TV, there's very, very rare that you will find anything that is going to inspire you to stretch further. We're always met by things that are on budget, things that are always on sale, things that are always cheap. But you're never met with, a an advertisement where, any aspiring life, again, even if we look back to the ads that was on over Christmas time, all those advertisements when you see all these Hollywood stars talking complete gibberish and, in a a ludicrous scene in life where maybe they're running down a beach after this girl that they love, or they're floating up into the sky and all of a sudden they're standing on the moon to find the perfect partner. Even in those aspirational moments when they are telling us we can be bigger, it usually comes through something as simple as buying a bottle of perfume. If you buy this bottle of perfume, your life is going to be so much better. Now, when you do think about that, that is totally ridiculous, that a bottle of perfume or a bottle of deodorant or some aftershave is going to completely turn around your life. But Unfortunately, no, we aren't inspired by anything around us. We're just told to kind of stay the way we are, dream small, just go to 9 to 5, do what job you've been doing, and just kind of stay where you are. And unfortunately, the people that we are probably looking up to, the people that are heroes and people that, probably have, cut out a path that none of us have ever gone on, or none of us will ever go on, are the people who have a positive vision of life. They dream of a more positive life for themselves, maybe dream of a more positive life for other people. But those people, unfortunately, are in a minority. And as I said, that is probably because a lot of us have given up on our dreams. A lot of us have been hit with the cheese grater of life, and that has slowly chipped away, and it has probably left us where we are right now because we have a small dream, or as I said, maybe we have no dream at all. Maybe we are working for somebody else's dream. So what I want you to do, again, maybe some of those dreams you had when you were small, maybe you can't apply to NASA right now because you're not the right age, or you're too old, or whatever whatever requirements they are looking for. Maybe that goal has gone past you, and maybe that dream isn't something that is physically acceptable for you. Maybe you can't be the quarterback for, the Dallas Cowboys or whatever because you're out of shape, or maybe you're too old or whatever. But maybe those dreams have been gone. But that doesn't mean maybe you can't go back into some of those dreams you had when you were younger. Dust them off and maybe have a look at them again. Can you do some of the things that you had, dreamed that you're going to do when you were small? For a lot of us, probably could. Maybe if you did dream that you could be a writer, there's no reason why you can't start writing today, create some kind of blog or something like that. Or maybe the dream of you being a great movie star. Maybe Hollywood has long passed you, but that doesn't mean maybe you can't stand in front of a camera today and maybe set up a YouTube channel and create some videos, or you can create some kind of entertaining. Or maybe, that dream where you could be maybe an inspiring speaker or something like that. There's no reason why you can't get in front of a microphone today and do a podcast and something like that. So what I want you to do is, have a look at the dreams that you had when you're small. Maybe you've given up on those dreams. But as I said, if you aren't working on a dream right now, you are working on somebody else's dream. Maybe it's, it could be a government's dream. Maybe the government has a dream for you, and you're going to be one of those kind of worker drones, or those kind of people who are just doing a 9 to 5 job and who are just another cog in the machine. Maybe that's the only dream they have for you. And if they don't have a big dream for you, what really life can you expect to have in the future if you are, just going along with whatever dream they have for you? So what I want you to do is dust off your dream, have a look at it. Is there any maybe way you could update it? Is there any way maybe you could take on that dream or stretch yourself this year? Find out what you would like to do. And as I said, unfortunately, a lot of people, the majority of people, have maybe a negative, or for the majority of people, it's a neutral vision of life, in that they expect to do the exact same thing every day. And it's life, it's predictable, it's comfortable. But unfortunately, a lot of us who have a neutral vision for life, it doesn't protect us in any way. You might expect that job is always going to be there for you. You might expect that, a lot of things, unfortunately, are going to be there. But unfortunately, you probably have discovered over time that factories do close, people's dreams do change, man. Maybe they don't include you. Maybe they dream of having their business being all automated and it doesn't require you anymore. And unfortunately, having a neutral vision for your life is sometimes very, very risky, even though it does kind of seem safe right now. Being in the middle of the road isn't always the best place to be. So whose dream are you working on? Is it one of your own, or is it someone else's? And if it is someone else's, is their dream big enough for you? Or maybe it's time you should start working on that dream of yours once more. So as always, maybe I hope I've helped somebody out today. If you'd like to reach out to me, or if you'd like to pass any comments, or if you'd like me to cover something in an upcoming episode, feel free to reach out to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com. And if your dream is maybe to stretch yourself, if you'd like to get into writing or something like that, head on over to Writecom. That's WRITECOME.com. I have a couple of great free reports on the homepage. Or if you'd like to find out more of my content, if you do a search on Facebook, iTunes, YouTube, or whatever, and just do a search for Writecom, again, WRITECOME.com, you'll find the content all over the web. So as always, have a great day, and thanks for your time today. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecom.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.